The little 6-digit verification code your bank texts you to confirm a login, authorize a password change, or approve a financial payment is supposed to be the ultimate shield keeping cyber criminals out of your accounts. Even if a malicious actor manages to uncover your master password through a data breach, a phishing attack, or a lucky guess, that text message is fundamentally designed to act as your absolute last line of defense against devastating financial fraud. It is the security layer that gives millions of ordinary people peace of mind every single day when they manage their money online. But what if I told you that cybersecurity researchers have officially and definitively proven that it is possible for criminals to silently hijack those exact codes right out of the air? What if the very technology designed to protect you can be turned against you without your knowledge? Attackers are doing this by exploiting the foundational SIM technology built directly into your smartphone. Even more concerning is that the newest evolution of this cellular technology, the digital eSIM, has been shown to be entirely clonable in a way that reroutes your incoming text messages, phone calls, and critical two-factor authentication codes directly to a criminal's device, all while your own phone remains connected to the network without ever triggering a single security alert or warning light. I want to be completely honest, transparent, and precise with you from the very beginning of this discussion, because the topic of mobile security is deeply buried under a massive mountain of media hype, sensationalism, and digital fear-mongering. The actual reality of the situation is serious enough on its own. It does not need to be exaggerated or sensationalized with clickbait scare tactics. To clear up the biggest myth spreading across the internet right now, there is no such thing as an eSIM virus that you can accidentally download from a shady website and simply delete with an antivirus app. That is fundamentally not how any of this actually works in the real world. Instead, what we are actually facing is a verified, structural set of deep vulnerabilities within the global SIM and eSIM infrastructure that the entire modern world relies on every single day. These are architectural weaknesses that allow an advanced attacker to intercept the one-time passcodes your financial institutions send over the open cellular network. The single most important thing you can do to protect your identity and your life savings is a concrete, real-world action that I am going to map out for you clearly near the end of this breakdown. This is a genuine, verified solution that actually locks down your data, rather than some fake software setting or useless toggle menu that does absolutely nothing to protect you. So, I urge you to stick with me through this entire explanation. By the time we finish, you will understand exactly how your banking security codes can be stolen, why the global transition to digital eSIMs fundamentally changes the risk landscape, and the one critical adjustment you should make today to pull your most sensitive digital accounts completely out of the line of fire. To truly grasp the nature of this digital risk, we first need to break down exactly what an eSIM is and how it functions, because understanding the underlying hardware architecture is the absolute key to understanding the modern security threat. For decades, your unique mobile identity and your phone number lived on a physical piece of plastic containing a tiny microchip, the traditional SIM card. This was a card you could physically pop out of one device using a paperclip, and manually drop into an entirely different phone whenever you changed hardware. An eSIM, which stands for Embedded Subscriber Identity Module, performs the exact same operational job as that old plastic card. However, instead of being a removable piece of plastic, it is a permanent microchip soldered directly onto your smartphone's motherboard during the manufacturing process. Your mobile network carrier profile is loaded onto this permanent chip digitally over the air, rather than through a physical card that you have to insert into a slot on the side of your device. This massive technological shift from physical, removable plastic to permanent embedded chips brings genuine, undeniable conveniences to the modern consumer. With an eSIM setup, you can switch between different mobile network providers almost instantly without ever having to wait for a physical card to arrive in the mail or visiting a local retail store. Furthermore, because the chip is entirely digital, you can store multiple distinct carrier profiles simultaneously on a single smartphone, allowing you to easily manage a personal number, a business line, and a local data plan while traveling internationally. The specialized hardware chip that makes all of this digital magic possible is known as an EUICC, which stands for Embedded Universal Integrated Circuit Card. This highly complex hardware component is manufactured by only a small, elite handful of highly specialized technology corporations around the world. The central security promise made by the telecommunications industry regarding eSIM technology has always been based on its physical permanence. The argument was simple. Because an eSIM cannot be physically removed from the smartphone, it is inherently far more secure than the old removable plastic cards. A thief who steals your physical phone cannot simply pop out your SIM card to put it into their own device to hijack your phone number. However, this is where a deeply uncomfortable truth comes into play, one that recent cutting-edge cybersecurity research has completely exposed to the public. The industry-wide transition to digital eSIMs, while incredibly convenient for travelers and daily users, introduced its own set of severe security loopholes and digital blind spots. Shockingly, some of these brand new modern vulnerabilities are actually rooted in incredibly old legacy software flaws that the telecom industry failed to leave behind. Security teams conducting deep dive audits discovered that global eSIM infrastructure around the world is fundamentally vulnerable to specific network level and physical exploits because of a 6-year-old software vulnerability originally identified in Oracle's JavaCard technology. JavaCard is the foundational software language that underlies and runs the operational systems of billions of smart cards, SIMs, and eSIMs globally. In plain terms, this means that a critical programming weakness that was openly identified and documented way back in the year 2019 in the foundational software layer ended up being accidentally baked directly into the modern eSIM chips currently sitting inside countless high-end smartphones worldwide. This is not a hypothetical conspiracy theory. It is a genuine documented engineering flaw resting at the very heart of modern mobile connectivity. It is an issue that demands an accurate, clear understanding rather than being brushed aside as just another vague, scary headline on a technology blog. Let us take a closer look at what this foundational software flaw actually makes possible in a real-world scenario, because this is the exact point where the theoretical risk transitions into an incredibly frightening reality that directly threatens your personal bank accounts. A group of highly respected security researchers at an independent firm known as Security Explorations decided to conduct a thorough evaluation of these vulnerabilities. They focused their research on the specific EUICC chips manufactured by Kaigen, a massive hardware company with an immense global reach throughout the mobile industry. According to their technical analysis, if these specific security flaws are successfully exploited by a skilled bad actor, the vulnerabilities can allow an attacker to completely clone an eSIM, spy on private mobile communications, and even execute commands that permanently destroy or brick the physical eSIM chip inside the phone. The proof provided by these researchers was absolutely not theoretical. To demonstrate the validity of their findings to the telecommunications industry, they executed a live proof of concept demonstration. During this test, the researchers successfully cloned a functional eSIM running on the network of Orange Poland, a major European telecommunications provider. The real-world result of that successful test was the exact nightmare scenario for anyone who currently relies on text message verification codes to secure their online identities. Cloning that specific eSIM caused all incoming voice calls, text messages, and two-factor authentication codes to instantly reroute to the attacker's clone device, all without ever alerting the original, legitimate user that anything had gone wrong. Let that reality sink in completely, because it represents the entire core of the modern mobile threat landscape. When a criminal successfully deploys a cloned eSIM, their separate device begins receiving every single one of your incoming calls, your private text conversations, and, most critically, your two-factor authentication codes. Meanwhile, your own smartphone continues to display full signal bars and looks completely normal. You receive absolutely no warning text, no pop-up notification, and no system error indicating that your mobile identity has just been split in two. When you attempt to log into your online banking portal, the financial institution sees the login attempt and automatically transmits the required 6-digit security code. The bank fully believes it is sending that code directly to you, the rightful owner. In reality, the text message travels through the cellular network and lands directly on the screen of the attacker's device. The criminal calmly reads the code, types it into the login field of your account, and just like that, your supposed last line of defense is silently turned against you. This is precisely why this hardware vulnerability matters so intensely for your personal finances and your private data. The entire security framework of text-based one-time passcodes is built upon one single absolute assumption: the belief that only your physical smartphone can receive a text message sent to your unique phone number. The eSIM cloning exploit completely shatters that foundational assumption. The exact moment that core assumption is broken, the master password you believed was safely locked behind a robust second layer of defense is suddenly left wide open to anyone who manages to intercept that single text message. Before you allow anxiety to take over, I owe you a full, completely honest, and balanced picture of the situation. The specific mechanics of how this eSIM chip cloning attack operates are the exact reason why it is not a threat that the vast majority of ordinary people will ever face in their daily lives. Understanding the sheer complexity of this exploit allows you to focus your energy and your security worries exactly where they belong, rather than stressing over Hollywood-style spy scenarios. While the eSIM cloning vulnerability discovered by researchers is genuinely serious, it is also monumentally difficult for an ordinary street criminal to pull off. According to both the security researchers who found the flaw and the engineers at the chip-making firm Kaigen, a successful exploit requires an incredibly rare combination of perfect conditions. Most notably, in almost all standard deployment scenarios, an attacker needs to gain brief physical access to your actual unlocked smartphone. They must do this to manually extract specific digital cryptographic keys from the physical chip architecture. And they must combine those extracted keys with a highly specialized knowledge of publicly available manufacturing test keys. Because of this intense mandatory requirement for physical device access and highly specialized radio equipment, top cybersecurity experts have openly cautioned that this specific cloning method is realistically a tool reserved for nation-state threat actors, intelligence agencies, and advanced corporate espionage teams conducting highly targeted operations against high-value individuals. It is simply not a practical tool for a mass-market scam aimed at extracting a few $100s from an ordinary consumer's retail bank account. It is also incredibly reassuring to know that the global technology industry responded rapidly to these findings. The chip manufacturer, Keegan, quickly developed and issued an operating system-level security patch to resolve the programming error. Furthermore, they worked directly with the GSMA, the global governing body that oversees the entire mobile industry, to completely revise the underlying technical specifications for future eSIM manufacturing. This cooperation effectively blocked the installation of the malicious applets that made the initial cloning demonstration possible. Therefore, this specific eSIM chip flaw is actively being closed and eliminated at both the manufacturing level and the global specification level. This is exactly how a deep hardware-level vulnerability should always be taken care of. Silently fixed by the tech vendors themselves through robust engineering updates, rather than leaving you to frantically hunt through your phone's settings menus trying to turn off features you don't fully understand. I am laying out these technical details because honesty in cybersecurity matters immensely. The dramatic, terrifying headlines screaming about eSIM cloning are technically real, but in day-to-day practice, it is a highly sophisticated physical access threat that you will likely never encounter. However, the true threat to your bank accounts, the one you actually need to take immediate action against, is far broader, significantly more common, and much easier for low-level criminals to execute. That common threat is what we must turn our attention to next. This is the portion of the discussion that genuinely affects ordinary citizens, because the plain truth is that your text message bank verification codes are incredibly vulnerable through several well-established low-tech methods that require zero specialized engineering knowledge. The exotic eSIM hardware clone we just broke down is only one specialized way to intercept data. The most common, accessible, and financially devastating attacks occurring right now do not require a criminal to ever touch your physical phone, download malware, or understand a single line of complex code. The first and most prevalent method is the notorious SIM swap scam. In a standard SIM swap attack, a criminal completely bypasses your phone's hardware security by targeting the weakest link in the communication chain, human nature and customer service agents. An attacker gathers basic public pieces of information about you from social media profiles, public records, or data breaches, such as your full name, date of birth, and home address. They then contact your mobile carrier's customer support line or walk into a retail store, smoothly impersonating you. They claim that they have tragically lost their phone or accidentally dropped it in water, and they request the support agent to instantly transfer their phone number over to a brand new physical SIM card or digital eSIM that the attacker currently holds in their hands. The exact moment the unsuspecting customer service representative falls for the trick and updates the account system, your physical smartphone instantly loses all connection to the network. Your cellular bars drop to zero, and your device is completely disconnected from the digital world. Meanwhile, your entire mobile identity, your phone number, and every single incoming text message and phone call now route directly to the criminal's device. This requires absolutely no technical hacking skills. It is, at its core, a simple psychological confidence trick played directly on your mobile network provider rather than on you. While you're sitting at home wondering why your phone suddenly has no service, the criminal is already resetting the passwords to your financial accounts, intercepting the bank codes, and clearing out your balances. The second highly dangerous method is an attack aimed directly at the underlying routing network of the global telecommunications system, a protocol known as SS7, which stands for Signaling System Number 7. SS7 is a decades-old set of telephony signaling protocols developed way back in the 1970s that telecommunications carriers still use today to route voice calls and text messages between entirely different national and international networks. Because it was designed long before the advent of modern cybercrime, the SS7 network contains long-standing fundamental architectural vulnerabilities that cannot easily be patched. Attackers who manage to buy or exploit access to the global SS7 network can easily execute routing commands that intercept SMS traffic, including your private one-time financial passcodes, right out of the air at the network level, without ever needing to gain physical access to your device or tricking a customer support agent. As professional security analysts frequently summarize in industry reports, SMS-based one-time passcodes can be effortlessly intercepted via basic SIM swapping or standard SS7 routing attacks without the criminal ever needing physical access to the victim's smartphone. Crucially, these attacks are becoming increasingly accessible to non-technical, low-level criminals. This last point is the one you need to pay closest attention to. These are absolutely no longer exotic, high-tech spy techniques reserved exclusively for international intelligence agencies or elite cyber warfare units. They are increasingly packaged into automated tools and sold on illicit forms, placing them within easy reach of ordinary, run-of-the-mill internet fraudsters. Every single one of these attacks successfully targets the exact same structural weak link: the delivery of your critical security codes over an open, vulnerable cellular phone network. If the absolute common thread running through every single one of these digital exploits, from the highly sophisticated eSIM chip clone to the everyday social engineering SIM swap, all the way to network-level SS7 interception, is that they all fundamentally rely on capturing security codes sent over the open cellular network, then the ultimate solution becomes blindingly obvious and incredibly powerful. You must completely stop relying on verification codes sent over the cellular phone network. This is your definitive, immediate action item, and it is genuinely the single most effective security adjustment you can make to protect your digital footprint from modern fraud. Wherever your banking applications, email providers, and important online profiles allow it, you need to navigate into your settings and switch your two-factor authentication entirely away from text message SMS codes and move it over to a dedicated authenticator application, or even better, to modern cryptographic passkeys. Let us break down exactly why this simple shift is so incredibly effective at stopping hackers in their tracks. An authenticator application, such as the reputable free options offered by Google, Microsoft, Twilio Authy, or Apple, operates on an entirely different security model. Instead of relying on a central server to send a message across a sprawling cellular network to your phone, an authenticator app generates its temporary 6-digit security codes locally on your physical device, completely offline, using advanced mathematical algorithms. Because this generation happens entirely inside the sandbox of your smartphone's operating system, there's absolutely no text message ever sent into space for an attacker to intercept. There's no phone number floating across routing hubs to clone, and there is no cellular profile for a criminal to swap at a retail store. The security code never travels across the vulnerable telecommunications network that all of those devastating attacks exploit. The code simply lives, updates every 30 seconds, and expires entirely within the physical hardware of your own phone, never once touching the open cellular network. This one single change completely neutralizes SIM swapping, completely defeats SS7 network interception, and entirely bypasses the risks of eSIM cloning, all in a single move. It works perfectly because all three of those prevalent attacks fundamentally require capturing a digital message while it is actively in transit across the telecom network. With a local authenticator app up and running, there is simply no message in transit left to capture in the first place. Taking your personal security one step further, the absolute most secure authentication option now widely available to the general public is the passkey. The global cybersecurity industry has moved decisively and permanently in this direction over the last few years. Most modern cybersecurity frameworks and data protection agencies now firmly recommend that businesses and consumers move entirely beyond temporary one-time passcodes, shifting instead to completely phishing-resistant authentication methods like passkeys or direct biometric verification. Even the United States government's premier standards body, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has officially updated its guidelines to strictly restrict and discourage the use of SMS-based one-time passcodes for high-assurance, critical security authentication. The top technological minds and security experts in the field have already firmly concluded that text message codes are the broken link in the digital chain. You do not need to spend hours trying to figure out complex technical details yourself. You simply need to take immediate action based on what the entire security industry already knows to be true. Let us make this immediate action plan genuinely practical, clear, and easy to execute, so you can lock down your digital life the exact moment you finish reading this breakdown, because vague security advice helps absolutely no one. You should begin this process by auditing your most important, high-value, and sensitive digital accounts, addressing them in this exact order of priority. Your primary email account. This is the absolute master key to your entire digital existence. If a criminal gains access to your primary email, they can simply click "Forgot password" on every other website you use, sending password reset links straight to themselves and locking you out of your entire life. Your banking and financial applications. This includes your primary checkings and savings accounts, investment portals, and retirement funds where your actual wealth sits. Payment and cryptocurrency services. Any digital wallet tied directly to your credit cards, debit cards, or liquid digital assets, such as PayPal, Venmo, or major crypto exchanges. For every single one of these accounts, log into the official application or website, navigate directly into the account profile security settings, and locate the section labeled Two-Factor Authentication, Two-Step Verification, or 2FA. If you see that the account is currently configured to send verification codes via text message or SMS, look for an alternative option to add an authenticator app, which is sometimes listed in menus as an authentication app, or TOTP, which stands for Time-Based One-Time Password. If the service supports it, look for the option to set up a passkey. If you do not already have a reputable authenticator application installed on your phone, head to your device's official app store, download a trusted option like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, and set it up. When your financial or email service displays a secure QR code on your screen, simply open your new Authenticator app, tap the Add button, and scan that QR code with your phone's camera. The app will instantly sync and begin generating rolling 6-digit codes every 30 seconds. Now, here is a critical step that many people completely overlook. Once your Authenticator app is successfully linked, you must completely remove and delete your mobile phone number as a backup or fallback verification method if the service allows you to do so. Leaving your phone number attached as a fallback option means that the weak, vulnerable SMS backdoor remains wide open for a clever SIM swapper to exploit. Alongside that account cleanup, you must take one more concrete, real-world step that directly blocks the most common street-level attack, the SIM swap. Contact your mobile network carrier's customer service department directly, or log into your official cell provider account portal and explicitly request them to add a port-out PIN, a port freeze, a number lock, or SIM protection to your mobile account. This is a completely separate, highly secure alphanumeric passcode or PIN that the carrier's system strictly requires before your mobile phone number can ever be transferred, ported, or assigned to a brand new physical SIM card or digital eSIM. This simple account lock stops a social engineering SIM swap completely cold. Even if a highly convincing, articulate identity thief manages to dig up all of your public personal information and calls your carrier pretending to be you, the customer support agent's computer system will physically block them from moving your number unless they can provide that specific secret security PIN. The vast majority of major telecommunications carriers around the world now offer this exact account locking protection completely for free. Setting it up requires either one brief phone call to customer support or just a few quick taps inside your carrier's smartphone app. Between completely switching off your vulnerable SMS codes and locking down your mobile number against unauthorized carrier transfers, you firmly slam shut the two single widest doors that cybercriminals use to reach straight into your private bank accounts. Let us pull all of these pieces together into a clear, cohesive summary, because the completely honest version of this security story is both significantly less terrifying and infinitely more useful than the alarming headlines you see floating around the web. There's absolutely no hidden eSIM virus waiting to infect your phone or destroy your operating system from the inside out, and anyone urgently telling you to rush out and download a specific app to turn one off is pointing you directly at a fictional product that simply does not exist in reality. What is entirely real, however, is this. The legacy SIM and modern eSIM data transmission systems that deliver your text message bank confirmation codes have genuine, verified engineering vulnerabilities. Security researchers have openly proven that under perfect conditions, they can clone an eSIM chip and silently reroute your private calls, texts, and two-factor codes directly to their own hardware. But as we discussed, that specific high-tech exploit is incredibly complex, requires physical device access, remains largely a highly targeted tool for nation-state espionage, and is already actively being patched and eliminated at the chip manufacturing and specification level by the global telecom industry. Far more relevant to your daily financial safety are the everyday, low-tech methods of SIM swapping and SS7 network routing interception. These attacks can effortlessly capture your text message verification codes without a criminal ever needing to touch your physical smartphone, and these methods are increasingly falling into the hands of ordinary, low-level online fraudsters. The fundamental common denominator across all of these distinct digital threats is that they all target security codes while they are being transmitted over the open cellular network. Therefore, the definitive answer to protecting your wealth and your digital identity is to completely stop sending your security authentication through that network. Transition your two-factor authentication entirely away from text messages and move it over to a local authenticator app or a cryptographic passkey. Begin this update immediately with your primary email account, follow it up with your core banking and financial apps, and finish by adding a secure port-out PIN with your mobile carrier to block any unauthorized number transfers. These simple, straightforward security actions cost you absolutely nothing, require zero technical expertise, and take no more than a single quiet afternoon to complete. Yet, executing these changes lifts your most critical digital accounts completely out of the path of every single mobile attack vector we have broken down today. The criminals of the digital world are actively betting that you will continue to rely on insecure text codes simply out of old habits, procrastination, or a minor preference for convenience. They are counting on the fact that you will read about these risks and choose to do nothing at all. Prove them completely wrong. The inherent flaws of text message verification codes are a real, proven fact, backed by the highest cybersecurity authorities on Earth. The permanent fix is entirely in your hands. It is 100% free, and the absolute best time to execute it is the exact moment you finish reading this text. Open up your online banking application right now, locate your account security profile, and turn off the vulnerable text codes that criminals everywhere are quietly counting on you to keep using. That is the real, verified solution to safeguarding your digital life.